Good day, everyone. Well, I think we have a lot to be grateful for in the midst of all of our challenges. This past week, with the inauguration, there was no violence. So many of us were very worried and anxious what would happen, not just in our capital, but in the capitals around the country. It was peaceful, and we are grateful. Now, as we move through these difficult months of January, February, and March, with a pandemic that we are told will get worse before it gets better, we really are challenged not to despair or lose hope. Grace is always available to us to work together to control this demon that has taken over our world. You know, this past week I couldn't help but be so amazingly touched by that young poet laureate, Amanda Gorman. No matter what our political leanings might be, she really did speak to each one of us and to our country and actually our world. I believe that she was really inspired by God. She titled her poem, "The Hill We Climb." How appropriate for all of us. It's worth meditating on. So I've chosen just a few phrases and a few words from the poem, and I hope that you go and look it up on the internet and just read it or listen to it on YouTube. She's an amazing young woman. But some of the phrases that really struck me, she began with, "When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade?" How appropriate. She talked about the loss we carry. And yet, the dawn is ours, she says. Before we knew it, somehow we do it. Then she said, we are not broken, we are unfinished. And she challenged us to put our differences aside so that we can reach out our arms to one another, that we seek harm to none and harmony to all. She went to the scriptures. She talked about this terrifying hour that we are all going through. In the midst of it, we must offer hope and laughter ourselves. She told us, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. 3 words she used. 3 R's. Rebuild, reconcile, recover. Rebuild, reconcile, and recover. For there is always light, she says, if only we are brave enough to be it, to be the light. As I heard her speak, all I could think about is how amazingly God works through so many wonderful people. And certainly worked through Amanda Gorman, this young poet laureate. So as I reflect this coming week, as we go through the end of January and move into some tough weeks with the weather, we're challenged to climb that hill, all of us. So let us take courage so that we can reach out our arms to one another, to not seek harm to anyone, but to seek harmony. There is light. She reminded us of that. And that's what Jesus always reminds us of. He is the light. We have to be brave enough to see the light, and then we have to be the light. So for us as Christians and Catholics, we have to experience Jesus as the light, and then we have to be Jesus to each other during these difficult days. So peace to all. Let us all continue to pray for one another, to be safe and healthy, to not be too frustrated by trying to get the vaccine and trusting that it will happen more quickly and in a better organized way. Have a good week, everyone. You are in my prayers.